Okay, thank you very much for everyone who's just joined us for a Dearborn Public Library program. My name is Dan, one of the librarians. We'll be starting, say, in about a minute or two, just to allow for latecomers. But glad you can join us. Thanks a lot for joining us. We'll get started in a minute. Okay, thanks a lot for joining us. My name is Dan. I'm one of the librarians at the Dearborn Public Library. And glad you can join us tonight for a program how to convert your home to renewable energy. Now, we'll have a presentation, and then afterwards, be glad to have you go ahead and ask your questions through the chat feature below on the row below. So afterwards, we'll be glad to take all of your questions. Now, what was the reason for this program? Well, I kept seeing all these ads for solar power on TV, and I was kind of curious, how do you go about doing that? So, and I imagine there'd be a lot of other people out there who'd be curious too. So I contacted Michigan Saves Green Energy Bank, and they got me in touch with Todd O'Grady, one of the outreach supervisors there, and he was I'm glad he was able to join us tonight to talk about what is the process of converting your home to renewable energy. So I'm going to hand it off to Todd and have Todd take it away from here.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Thanks everyone for joining tonight. First and foremost, let me invite you to check out our website at michigansaves.org. That's michigansaves.org. And another important, let me give you my number. It's 248-701-3058. That's 248-701-3058. And as you're going through this process or you have any questions about energy efficiency or renewable energy, please give me a call, or there's also contact information on our website to call one of our experts that can help you along, answer any of your questions. That's why we're here. As I tell folks, if you can pay cash for these projects, go right ahead. We just want to see the projects get done. But if you do need financing, that's what we're here for. We're a nonprofit. We were started back in 2010. I think we did our first loan in 2011. We manage a loan loss reserve, so we call ourselves a green bank because we only finance energy efficiency or renewable energy projects. And that can be anything from insulation for your home. We'll be going over eligible measures here in a little bit, but anything from insulation to windows to certain roofing, as long as it's energy efficient, air sealing and insulation for your home, Energy Star appliances, solar power, wind power, geothermal, anything that is labeled green or can save you energy, we can finance it. And we have several different programs, residential, commercial, multifamily. We have programs for houses of worship, schools, and we get support from the local utilities as well. And my first question I always get is, why would a utility want to help finance a customer to save energy when their business is to produce energy? Well, back in 2009, when Public Act 295 was passed by the Michigan Public Service Commission, they gave bonuses to the utilities to save energy. So the utilities are able to make money by saving energy. And the reason they were doing that was because they wanted to cut down on the coal-fired power plants. They wanted to stop building coal-fired power plants. So in order to do that, they wanted to try and reduce the load. To reduce the load, you need to be more energy efficient. So that's how we came about our program, mainly because when they passed Public Act 295, it was so utilities could give rebates for customers to make improvements. Well, they soon found out that the customers didn't have the capital to make the improvements, so they weren't able to take advantage of the rebates. So along came our program, in which we received about $5 million from the Department of Energy in the state of Michigan to create a loan loss reserve, meaning a pile of money to back finance agreements between you, the customer, and the local credit unions around the state. And if you defaulted, you, the customer, defaulted with the credit union was going to get paid a certain percentage back of that financed amount. And what that did was, once the credit union realized they were going to get paid no matter what, either from the customer or from us if the customer defaulted, it lowered the interest rate that the credit unions were charging, and it also lowered the underwriting requirements, so the credit scores that are required to get financing. We went off to a slow start in 2011, but every year we've gotten better. We just passed the $300 million mark in financed projects, which we're really proud of because we're still using that original $5 million in seed money, but luckily we've had very low defaults. So not a lot of people have defaulted on their financing. We're below 2% on the residential side, and I think we've had less than 10 defaults on the commercial side. So we like to say that's because people are saving energy every month. So that means they're saving money and they're able to make their payment to their credit union. But we can't prove that out, but that sounds good. So I'm just going to go over the first thing that I always tell folks is, if you want to do renewable energy, you should make sure your home is efficient first. Now, you don't have to with our program. You can go right to solar if you'd like to, or wind, but the way we look at it is, if you make your home more energy efficient, so if you use less electricity, then that's a smaller solar system you're going to need to put on your roof or in your backyard. So it just makes common sense to reduce your load. So in order to do that, you want to make your home more energy efficient. LED lights, of course, are popular. Timers, using Energy Star appliances, insulating and air sealing your home. Air sealing means eliminating all the gaps and holes that are in your basement or protrusions in your attic. Seal those with caulk. Eliminate all those drafty spots where you have heat escaping in the wintertime and you have cool air escaping in the summertime. So, or hot air coming in the summertime. So once you make your home more, seal it up and then add insulation, because insulation does no good if you don't have, sorry about that. If insulation does no good if you don't have the proper gaps filled. So we tell people to become more energy efficient, and then you can add your renewable energy. Dan, are you able to still see my screen?
Oh, yeah, I see your screen.
Okay.
Yeah, if you could bring up
I just lost
the
it.
Michigan Save screen like you had.
Oh, so you can't see that one. Okay, thank you.
Right,
There you go.
bingo.
Thank you. So again, you don't have to go energy efficient. We just think it makes good sense because that's going to lower the cost of your PV photovoltaic system. And from here on, I'll just call it PV system, but that means solar energy on your roof or in your backyard. There's another type of solar, it's called solar thermal. It was popular back in the 70s where you would put basic water collectors on your roof and the water would be heated and then you'd circulate through your home or into your pool or wherever you needed it. Solar PV has become much more efficient than solar thermal. We can still finance solar thermal, but it really, these days with the efficiency of the PV panels, the solar panels, it makes more sense to buy the PV panels and then heat your water with electricity if you're looking for hot water. It's much more efficient and it saves you much more money. So to become energy efficient, there are several different ways you can do it. There's a lot of self-help things out there. You can go to our website under this and find a contractor, and what you do with that is I can show you right here. You put in your zip code. So let's see, what would that be?
8126.
126. Then you'd hit residential. You do a search, you see air sealing and insulation. Put that there. And then it searches for the contractors in the Dearborn, that work in the Dearborn area. So we have Weather Guard, 6 insulation, blanket insulation, all these, and you go down. And then on this right side here, we have a customer rating system, which if you do a job with one of these customers, we ask that you complete a customer service eval, and that'll show up on that side. So it's a really handy tool. So we also have on this contractor search engine a place for energy auditors. So it's always good to have an energy auditor come out to your home and give you an idea of what you can do to become more energy efficient. The utilities, your utilities, probably DTE and Consumers Energy, they both offer free home energy audits or home energy consultations. So you can go to each of their websites, or you can call me and I can direct you to those websites or give you numbers for them to call. And they'll come out and they do a walkthrough and just point out some areas, and they'll also give you some light bulbs and things like that. But to get a more comprehensive energy audit, you're gonna have to pay a home energy advisor to come out and give you, what they do is they depressurize your home with a blower door, which harms nothing. And then they go around with an infrared camera and they'll show you all the holes and possible draft areas in your home that you want to seal up. They'll also test the amount of insulation you have in the attic and the walls. Another big spot where air sealing insulation is needed, if you have a basement, is the rim joist. You lose a lot of air in the rim joist through a thing called stack effect. And if you do a Google search on that, you'll see where the air comes in at the bottom, at the basement portion of your home, and goes out through the second floor, through all the drafty spots and protrusions you have out of the attic. And it's a vicious cycle, but you can prevent it by sealing up the basement and sealing up the attic. You can also learn from the energy advisor about your windows, learn about the age of your furnace, your hot water tank. A lot of people currently are going into electrification where they're eliminating all their gas appliances. They can also talk to you about that. I know one of our Ann Arbor local communities going to full electrification, as well as I think Traverse City is working that way too. So these energy advisors are great. It's the costs go anywhere from $175 up to $400. Obviously, it depends on the size of your home. And the nice thing is a lot of them are third party, so they won't work for another company. Like they won't work for a window company or trying to sell you insulation. They're independently third party consultants. So they'll also give you cost of effective measures, meaning they'll say, okay, if you do air sealing insulation first, you'll get the biggest bang for your buck. Then if you convert all your lights over, that'll be to LED, that'll be your second biggest one. Or if you go to Energy Star appliances, or if you improve your HVAC, heating, ventilation, air conditioning system, if you improve that, if you have an old 80% efficient unit, let's say anything that's over probably 12 or 13 years old now is probably an 80% efficient unit. So it's obviously better if you have a 90% or like a 13 SEER AC unit, which you'll understand. The energy auditor will help you understand what all these terms are. But, or again, call me and I can help you through it as well. So getting back to where you make your home more energy efficient before you go to that solar. Solar PV is a great thing. It has a rate of return, which is kind of, you probably, again, depend on the size of your home and the size PV you need. It's probably going to be over 9 or 10 years. I will say this several times. Please do not believe what you see on TV when it comes to PV or solar power. If it's too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. So we have on our website some questions to ask your solar installer before, as you get these quotes, and I always recommend get at least 3 quotes from solar installers. But on our website, if we have a solar installer that is being a bad actor, we eliminate them from our site. So when you see contractors on our site and the customer service ratings, it's because they are good performers. Obviously, sometimes they mess up. If they do, we have actions that we make them go through. If they don't follow through with those actions, then they're eliminated from our program. So please follow those steps. The Michigan Public Service Commission on their website also has a solar buyer's guide as well. But the best thing you can do is get a couple of quotes and ask the questions of the solar contractors that are coming out. The first decision you have to make is the size of the system you're going to want. And all the solar contractors can help you with that, estimate it. You're going to go by your load, your bills that you currently have. And they'll do, they can go through a couple of years of bills for you, because I know last year with COVID we spent a lot of time at home, so we used a lot more energy than we normally do, but they'll even that out for you. Obviously things like if you have another person staying at your home, that changes the energy use, or someone moves out. There are a lot of variables that can change your load besides energy efficiency. So just always want to be aware of that. But the payback will usually be, 9 or 10 years, depending on the efficiency of the panels that you get and the load. And just because you get solar panels doesn't mean you can leave your lights on, of course, or, forget about being efficient. So the other big decision you have to make is, do you have too many trees around your home that can even allow you to have solar? So if you do have a lot of trees, most of the solar installers can do a Google map search of your home and tell you the shading and the exposure you have for your solar panels. So it's a really nice thing that they offer, and it helps you because it saves you a trip. And having visits from solar contractors, they can pretty much check it out from Google Maps. If you can't do it on your roof, you can also do a yard ground mount. And I've seen them in backyards in Dearborn and other cities that houses are close together. It all depends on how big your neighbor's house is, how many trees are around it, how big your backyard is. Some areas, especially historic neighborhoods, don't allow you to put them in front of the house or even on the roof in the front of the house. So be aware of that as well. There are many different designs for solar panels. Obviously, you want a roof that has southern exposure. If you don't have a roof that has southern exposure, it doesn't mean you can't get solar, because you can do a ground mount. But you can also put it on a roof that maybe has a west exposure. And the reason for that is usually in the summertime, when you come home from work and you turn up your air conditioner, or people start coming home 3 or 4 o'clock, the sun is over in the west side of the sky. So that's when you want to produce the most energy anyhow. So depending on your lifestyle, some folks like to have them positioned on the west side of the home, the roof, on the west facing roof, to suffice that, because that's when the load demand is late afternoon in the summertime. Otherwise, the general rule is the southern exposure is the best, with, of course, not any tall trees around. Again, your solar installer can help you with all of that and to figure out where you want to put it, or the size. Some people are particular about the design of the system as well. Some like just all black panels, some like different designs or shapes put on to the roof. But the solar installer's primary concern is being able to service it, obviously install it, but then service it as well. And other things you have to think about is the slope of your roof. If you do have a flat roof, which some homes do, then you're going to have racking that tilts up the panel, or the pitch of the roof, so the solar installers know what to prepare for when they do the install. And you want snow to come off of the solar panels as well. After you've decided what kind of panels you want, then you're going to have to decide on the inverter. There's several different types of inverters you can use. Some are less expensive than others. Usually, from what we found, the inverters, the panels will last. Usually they have a 20-year warranty, the solar panels, but the inverters are less. So that's one of those questions you want to ask on that list of questions, is the warranty on the inverters. Some panels come with individual inverters on the back of the panel. Others have the inverter at the end of the array. So that's another thing that you want to question your solar installer on, and make sure what they're giving you a quote on is for the type of inverter that you'd like. The other thing to consider is storage. We hear a lot of talk about the Tesla power walls, and storage is a key component for solar. Obviously, if you want to get off grid, then solar is definitely key. Solar storage is definitely key. If you're just happy with producing solar and using what you produce and then going back onto the grid when it gets dark, you don't necessarily need storage. Storage, if you were to get it today, it probably doubles the price, or pretty close to the cost of your PV system. So it is expensive, but the prices have been dropping. I don't know, if you shop for solar 10 years ago, it was sky high in price as well. It's come down more than half from 10 years ago. On average, just, as Joe customer here speaking, not for Michigan Saves, on average, you're going to pay about 3 cents or $3 a kilowatt for your solar system. So that kind of gives you an idea. Some are more, some are less, but that's a ballpark. Obviously, if it's a ground mount, the price may be different than a roof mount. Solar panels come in all different efficiencies, so they could be 100%, have the efficiency of 100. They could have the efficiency, I just saw one today that's 400. So, and obviously the price is going to be different for each one. So that's another part of those questions you want to ask the installer, just to make sure when you have those two quotes you're looking at that you're comparing apples to apples and not apples to oranges, so you know. With my Michigan Saves hat on, I can't recommend one contractor or the other. I just direct you to our website. But obviously, using our website and our customer rating can be a good guide for you to picking a solar contractor. So we've covered the efficiency first. Try and become efficient first. If you want to go right to solar, that's fine. Go right ahead. But we'd like to see you become efficient first. And then you want to choose if you're going to have a roof mount or a ground mount. And that's going to be based on your tree coverage, or even if your house can do solar, because they have a lot of trees, and I know there are a lot of trees in Dearborn. You may not be able to do solar, at least not right now, until a couple of those trees get blown down or Mother Nature takes over. But, and then the type of panels you want, the inverters, and then if you are going to use storage or not. Once you have those things, then you have to decide DT and Consumers Energy. If you're a Consumers Energy electric customer, have a net metering program, which you might be interested in. And that basically means if you produce electricity and you don't use it all in your home, then you can sell it back to the utility and they'll use it for another home. It's a great program. The rate changes every so often, so ask your installer about that as well. Another issue with solar lately has been the supply. We all know what's happened with COVID, with manufacturing and the delays with shipping. So make sure you ask your contractor when they can do the install. They've been very busy lately. It's not uncommon to be 3 weeks out or 3 months out, depending on the contractor. So make sure, again, that's part of that list of questions you want to ask, when they can do it, because it's important. So with that, I can explain, and let me just do a find the contractor for solar PV at Dearborn area 2. So that's 48126. Yep, 126. Residential, and we'll do solar photovoltaic, PV. Just do a search for that. And there you have the contractors that work in your area. And I want to say this is set at a 20-mile radius, but you can set different radiuses. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Use our website. And like I said, these are usually pretty good contractors. So if you have any issues, make sure you let me know. So Michigan Saves, getting back to how our process works. And again, you can use our process to become energy efficient and for solar, both. We have different financing programs, like I said. I'll just talk about the residential right now, but obviously first you want to find a contractor and get a quote so you know what your improvement is going to cost you. After that, you're going to apply for financing, and you can do that either by phone or online. When the contractor comes out and gives you a quote and you know you want to make that deal, then the contractor can go to our website and you'll know within 15 minutes what you're approved for. We approve about 70% of the applications that come in. We do have multiple lenders, so that helps. But like I said, it's a 15-minute process. You'll know what you're approved for very quickly. If you have any issues, maybe tax issues or some troubled credit, we may have to do a deeper dive into your finances and your debt to income ratio. But again, we still try and expedite it because we know the contractors are anxious to get you approved and get the job done. So we do everything we can to expedite it with our lenders. So applying for financing, it's up to you to choose the lender. And the application is a simple one-pager. They ask general questions. The first thing you're going to need, though, is your authorized contractor's 6-digit contractor ID number. And they'll give that to you probably when they give you their quote. As long as you let them know you want to use Michigan Saves financing, they know they need to give you their ID number. And then really choosing a lender is, like I said, they're all local credit unions. So we have Freestar, Genesis, LAFQ, Lake Michigan, Michigan State, True Community, and Dort Financial. And what you do is just put where you live, the amount you need to borrow, and you can go through. These are all of our current options. As I tell everyone, don't necessarily go with the lowest interest rate because they may not offer the term that you want. So you can see we can go up to 180 months with Dort Financial, and we can go 120 with LAFQ. So you want to look at those things. A lot of times your contractor will suggest a credit union because they have a relationship with that credit union. They know the process, they know the people there. And I would listen to them unless you have a prior relationship with one of these lenders. It's always good to listen to your contractor because that might be able to expedite your process. But you can see we offer a lot of great interest rates. Here's a 3.9 up to 180 months for amounts up to 140,000. Here you can go to 50,000 through Genesis. And our program, we're always based on the demand of the customer. We're always changing our program in terms of trying to make it better. So we're always trying to extend the term and or lower the interest rate. So solar, especially with storage, can get kind of expensive. Many times you'll get a solar quote and the contractor might say, well, your roof is about 15 years old. You might want to get a new roof before you do your solar. So that adds on to it but we can finance the roof as well. It's just, it can start to get expensive because obviously you want to have a good roof under your roof mounted solar projects. So, but that's just one example. Or if you do solar and storage, then you might need, instead of 15,000, you might need 30,000. So it's important to pick a proper term. And again, the credit union will help you out with that. Your contractor will help you out with that based on, let's say you want to only spend $150 a month. So in order to have that payment, you may need to finance out 180 months. But the contractor, and we also have a loan calculator on our website as well. And I went past it, I think, already, but it's on there. So just go to the loan calculator and that can help you out as well on the payment and help you figure out the term you might need. But again, that's what your contractor's for. That's what I'm for. That's what the other outreach people are for at Michigan Saves. Patrick O'Boyle, Mac McCabe, and our genius customer service person, Katie Rose, who is a great help. And feel free to reach out to any of us at any time to help you through this process. So after you find your lender and you get approved, then it's basically, well, there's our calculate monthly payment calculator there. So it's a pretty quick moving process. So you will get some paperwork sent to you either electronically from the lender. You'll sign those papers and send them back. Once we get those, the contractor can start the work once we get the signed documents back from you. And they can start their work, get it done. Once the work's done, we'll fund the contractor, and we do that electronically so they can be paid. It's usually within 5 days after the job's completed. And it's not, we don't pay them until after you sign a certificate of completion, meaning you're happy with the job that was done. You sign that, the contractor signs it saying that they installed what they said they were going to install. Once we receive those 2 signatures on the COC, we're going to pay the contractor. There is a fee for the contractor to participate in the program. It's $2.49 on the residential side. So it's not a free program. It may seem free to you, the customer, but the contractor does pay a percentage, as I said, 2.49 of the financed amount to Michigan Saves. That's what keeps us going as a program. I'll talk about the commercial program briefly, but that's a different contractor fee. But just so you know, it's a 2.49 contractor fee on the residential program. Again, you can finance all these things on our website, and basically anything that can save energy, we can finance. So roofing, solar, insulation, low flow toilets, shower heads that conserve water, windows, air sealing that we talked about earlier. We can also remediate lead and mold, radon, and asbestos. We do that if you're, let's say you are putting in a new electric water heater, but your panel's old and you want to upgrade your panel. We can pay to do that. If you have knob and tube wiring in your home, we can finance that as well to change that out. So if there's an obstacle, we want to eliminate all obstacles for you to do energy efficiency and renewable energy. So whatever it takes, if you have mold, we need to eliminate that, we'll eliminate that. But our main goal is that you do an energy efficiency project or renewable energy project. We can also do electric car vehicle chargers. So that's a fairly new thing for us. We can also finance generators, and we do that. We require that you do another energy efficiency measure before we'll finance generators. So just keep that in mind. Again, we have FAQs on our website that answers a lot of your questions that maybe I glossed over today, but again, you can either resort to this. Here's a great one that we always get. How long are credit approvals? So it's valid for 90 days. We do have some lenders that'll go 120 days based on what's happening right now with manufacturing and the delays for product. We're trying to extend that out, but just so you know, as long as you keep in touch with your lender or the contractor keeps in touch with the lender and let them know what's happening with your material, it shouldn't be a problem. Can you do the work yourself? We do have a process for authorized contractors, but we do have some programs where you can do it yourself. But we prefer that you have a licensed contractor do the work. But again, call me on that if you have questions. Are there repayment penalties? There are no penalty for early payment. Answer that one. Electrification. Will my interest rate or term ever change? No, all interest rates and terms are fixed. I don't think I mentioned this is an unsecured loan as well. So that's another nice thing about our program. Is income verification required? Yes, you'll be asked for that. Pretty simple though, process. Who can apply for financing? It's available to owner-occupied single-family homes that are less than 4 attached units. So if you have a 2-flat, that's good. We can also provide financing for cottages or second homes and rental properties as long as the owner of the property is the applicant. We do not finance projects for occupants on land contracts, unfortunately. If you have a manufactured home or trailer, we can finance those as well. Can I apply with a co-applicant? Yes, you can. What can I do if I'm declined? You can reapply with another household member, or you can also try again after 30 days. We also have a program for folks that have credit less than 640. a FICO score of less than 640. So you can ask me about that. It's a slightly higher interest rate, but it still can get you your furnace replaced or whatever you need to have done, especially if it's an emergency situation, to make your home energy efficient. And I think we already talked about how you get started is to find an authorized contractor through our search engine and apply. Again, you can apply online or by phone. So for some of you folks out there that have businesses, we also have a commercial program, and the utilities, DT and Consumers Energy, offer some great programs like 0% financing. DT currently offers 0% for up to $150,000 for 60 months. And again, that's 0% to you, the customer, because you own a business in their territory. And that's to make your business more energy efficient. So that's a great program. And obviously, eligible measures, HVAC, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, roofing, indoor LEDs, occupancy sensors where the lights go on and off based on if someone's in the room. DT or consumers will not finance solar PV with 0%. It doesn't mean Michigan Saves can't finance it. We finance it, but the interest rate on the commercial side is for solar is going to be about 6%. But call me. It's all based on, again, the amount you want to borrow on the commercial side plus the term. And we can finance up to 84 months with our standard financing program. So again, how it works, find a contractor. As usual, we have the same process for finding a contractor, but instead of hitting residential, hit commercial. And then you'll find a lender, which we have a wide variety of lenders. These goes through commercial lenders, not through credit unions. So we have a whole slew of them, depending on what type of business you are, if you're multifamily. But just call me and I can help guide you to the list of lenders. If you're a municipality, like the Dearborn Public Library, we have a special lender for that. And they're also eligible for 0% as well. But in general, the interest rates can start 6%. They've been going down 7%, as you see on here. The amounts we just did a $40 million deal, or we can do a $10,000 deal. So it's really based on the size of your business and your needs. We're doing a lot of solar on businesses currently with storage or without storage. Obviously, with a lot of businesses, you need refrigeration and you can't do without it. So they like to have storage or a generator. So we can do all those things. And we have lenders for each thing. We also have lenders for nonprofits and for houses of worship, so churches, synagogues. And we list them all here on our website under special offers. You'll see all these different flyers, multifamily, small. Here's the DT small business flyer with different programs. We happen to be in Semco territory up by Port Huron. We have a program there. Again, Michigan Saves works with all utilities in the state, and that's 58 different utilities that we work with in the state of Michigan. We're only a Michigan program, but some utilities offer better incentives than others. So it's always good to, one, check our website, or two, call me, or you can call me first, or check with your contractor. FAQs on the commercial program. Can I do the work myself is always a great one. So with the work yourself on the commercial side, you can. Obviously, we have schools that finance with us, and they have their own crews that do installs. Some businesses have their own install crews, so they're able to do it themselves. We allow it. Just make sure you call me and stay in communication with the lender. So we have a really stringent quality assurance program. So we'll come out there and check out the site to make sure you install what you're going to install, and it's you bought the material, good material that you said you're going to buy, install, just to make sure everything's on the up and up. We do that for you and for the contractor, so, and the supplier. It'll just be one visit. Obviously, with a lot of this work, especially on the energy efficiency work, you can get rebates from the utility. So not only the 0% financing you're getting from DTE, you're also getting the rebates. If you're improving your lighting on the commercial side, a lot of times the rebates are very substantial, sometimes 20% of the cost of the project. I highly recommend you check DTE's website for their incentives, or you can call me and I can give you the number to an energy advisor from DTE or Consumers Energy, because it's well worth it. Those are free services from the utility. Highly recommend you take advantage of those services. Houses of worship, real quick. It's basically the same. I know many of folks out there attend a church or a synagogue. They can take advantage of these programs, the 0%. We like to partner with houses of worship. There's another program out there called Michigan Interfaith Power and Light, which has a great resource. I think it's Michigan Interfaith Power and Light. If you call me, I can send you the website. But it's a great resource for house of worship. There's a lot of local communities have downtown development authorities, which can help you out as well, and take advantage of these different rebate programs to make you more energy efficient. There are lots of resources, and please contact me, or as I said, Katie, our customer service person, or Mac or Pat, who's also does outreach with me. We can come out to your place of business, or talk to you over the phone, whatever you'd like to do, and help you out with this. If you're a homeowner, we can do the same thing as well. So please take advantage of us in terms of our resources. We've been doing this for quite a while. And the main thing, again, as I said in the beginning, is we want to make sure that you do the energy efficiency or install the renewable energy. If you finance it, that's great. If you pay cash, that's fine too. We just want to see that you get the project done and become more energy efficient. So Daniel, I'm finishing a little early at 7:16, so would probably be a good time for questions if anyone has any questions.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I have a kind of, if people have questions, go ahead and add them to the chat. But in the meantime, I have some questions of my own. Do you, for instance, we own a condominium or renting. Can the energy, can we qualify for any of these projects? I didn't see that mentioned in the website.
Yes, you can. Yep. And so we get a lot of condo associations that use us for improvements for a lot of roofing, because obviously buildings are attached. And yeah, renting a condo you can as well. Obviously the financing would go through the owner of the condo, but usually if you have a lease that's longer than the term you're financing for, they'll approve it if you take out the financing. So we just have to be in communication with the landlord, and it shouldn't be a problem at all.
Okay, and the ability to sell your energy, that you, okay, you have, say, X amount of energy and Y, which is half of that, you can send that back, sell that back to DTE Energy or other electrical suppliers. Kind of, do you have like meters or
Yeah.
how does, briefly, how does that
they
work?
take care of all that. And it's called the net metering program. And you have to apply for it. DT only does a certain amount per year. They're trying to get that increased, but so you apply for that. And once you get that net metering contract, your contractor will help you out with that application. And that's when they pay you back for the excess energy that you produce through your PV unit, PV panels. They'll pay you a certain percentage back. Obviously, it's not going to be the 16 cents that you pay on your electric bill with DT, but it's a less amount than that, but it's still something. And it helps when you have that extra power. You can send it back to the grid and they give you a credit on your bill for it. So many times I talk to customers every day where their electric bill used to be, $150, $160, and now it's down to $30 because they have a PV system. So figuring out a payback is pretty easy if you just figured $100 a month and your system cost $18,000, then you can figure out what your payback's going to be. But the net metering is just, it's like icing on the cake because you're going to also going to be getting that as a credit on that on your electric bill. So your bill may be even less than $30. So it all depends on the size of your system, how much power you're going to use yourself in your household, and how much you sell back to the grid. Now you can still do a PV system without having a net metering agreement with the utility. It's just another feature that you can have that adds to the attractiveness of doing PV. Another thing that I didn't talk about was the tax incentive, which I think it's at 22% if you do solar, renewable energy. But be careful with that one because some ads that you see on TV kind of mislead people on that solar tax credit. So make sure you read up on it, ask questions about it. Again, you can call me too, and I can help you out a little bit, but just make sure you're aware of when some of these unscrupulous contractors go out there and sell you on that tax credit. First of all, you have to have the income to take advantage of that tax credit. So just be careful. And I tell all the folks that call us just to be careful with when you factor in the tax credit on your overall solar quote. But call me if you have any questions on that.
Okay. Anybody else out there have a question? Let's look at the chat here. Let's see if that's case. Nope. Okay. So anybody can call you at the number that you stated in the beginning.
Yep, I'm going to put it in the chat box right now. And feel free to call me. Michigan Saves. Sorry, I'm a slow typer. But it's 248-701-3058. Or again, all my contact information is at michigansaves.org, our website, and any of us at Outreach can help. But feel free to call me about energy efficiency, renewable energy, financing, or just any ideas you have for improving our program as well.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Todd, for your time. I had a lot of good comments. We'll record this. We're recording this program and we'll post it to our YouTube page sometime this week.
Okay. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, and have a good night.